Understand that this is complex. There is a contract called a compact. It will be between the state, the federal government, and the tribe. It's a contract, and that's called the CSKT Water Compact. Within that contract, it specifically says if there's any discrepancy or argument about what this compact stands for, the ultimate purveyor or the ultimate authority of this compact is found in the water abstracts. Senator Daines has created a settlement legislation to enable this contract, which we call a compact. In it, he made a side agreement with the CSKT to say, well, just ignore some of those water abstracts. He did not change the compact. If he did, constitutionally, we'd have to return to the state for ratification and our approval. We were being told by the federal government it does not have to. Senator Jon Tester tells us the water compact is unchanged. The fact is that in that compact, well, as you see here, this affects us. Western Montana and our counties, our districts, are not at the table for these negotiations. We have been on the table for these negotiations. And we would give the CSKT, the Confederation of Salish and Kootenai Tribes, full faith in this issue of a side agreement. But unfortunately, in past, during the Kerr Dam transfer, they promised on a sidebar that they would continue to pay funding to Lake County in lieu of taxes. And then when the actual transfer did occur, 10 days later, they said, we will not do any such thing. So unfortunately, those that stand in front of you have lost faith in those discussions with the CSKT. This ends our presentation. We will stand up here and be available for questions, and then we should finish up in the next 5 minutes. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Senator OLSZEWSKI, I'm just wondering, so what is the solution you're proposing here? We have the water compact. You're saying we should withdraw it. So you're saying we should withdraw and then go into the endless litigation over the water rights? I'm just wondering what you see as the optimal solution here.
Water is constitutionally given to it's our constitutional property right to the state of Montana. The water was given to us in the 1889 Enabling Act 100% by the U.S. federal government. The treaty that was from 1855, the Hellgate Treaty, did not talk about water rights. Water rights comes from a Winters Doctrine, which is a U.S. Supreme Court decision in 1908 to decide that all reservations have water. So this discussion that the water is a treaty right is wrong. It's a Winters Doctrine discussion. What do? Look, I'm a legislator. Our job is to fight for the people of our area, our constituents. And the truth is if we cannot negotiate and come up with a good answer, the next step is to go to the courts, which are in the state, and it's been told by the U.S. Supreme Court, it is the Montana Water Court has the ultimate authority over all water rights decisions in our state. Our constitutional water rights are worth fighting for, even if it means going to court.
Who's going to pay for that?
We are going to pay. When we have to fight for the state's constitutional water right, then the state, the people of Montana will pay for this, as we should. It's our water.
Are you confident you prevail in a court fight?
If we can keep the water fight in the water court of the state of Montana, all judicial precedent goes to us. Their main argument that they have Aboriginal water rights is based on the claim that the right to fish actually means the right to own the water. The Supreme Court within the last 2 years made a decision that said that when you look at treaties, they have to be read literally. And there is no literal translation of the Hellgate Treaty that gives the Confederation of Salish and Kootenai Tribes the water of Western Montana.
What would you say to Rep. White and his claims that you're back, sorry, Mark.
You know, Representative Kerry White is a friend, and in fact, we're family. I come from a large family, and the truth is that it's okay to disagree in the family and fight over issues and still be a family. Here's the issue. Representative Wright and Senator Daines, if they're correct, if by making a side agreement outside of the compact changes the compact, and we're going to trust the CSKT when we've already had a bad faith effort with the Kerr Dam, that's one issue, and that's where he stands. But when we ultimately look at it, the water compact, the contract, which would go to court, not the legislation, would say that any discrepancy, any controversy, you go to the water compact water abstracts. And in the water abstracts, they say that the Confederation of the Senator Steve tribes have all the water. So either he's changed the compact or he hasn't. Yes, sir.
Many of the citizens have asked why this ever got out of the legislature. I personally have talked to a lot of legislators that never even had a chance to really see it because it was so voluminous. Is there a chance that we can bring this back to the legislature of Montana to have this discussion and best move forward on behalf of the citizens where we have representation here instead of Washington, D.C.?
The answer is yes. Senate Bill 262 by Senator Chaz Vincent of Lincoln County had put in his enabling legislation that we could not, as a legislature or as a governor or of any branch of authority, touch the water compact at any time until this year, or I'm sorry, of 2019 in June. So now, coming into the next legislature in 2021, we have the full authority that the legislature and the governor's office can work together to bring back, to modify Senate Bill 262 and therefore the compact to any degree that we wish. It is in our full authority and power to do so.
Is that something you and your colleagues are discussing or actively planning to do this time?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on what exactly you are suggesting a full?
No, there has been an open and active dialogue, and it occurred even before, because we knew when the deadline was. It was in June of 2019, that the only thing that we can do as a state is to change the law that enables the compact. We can disable the law, we can fully repeal the law, or a portion of it. As far as the details to that, I think that would, that's still a work in progress. And for me to give you any other ideas would be starting to stretch the idea of a campaign.
I'd just like to add my 2 cents. I think that legislators are not opposed to a water compact. In fact, I have participated and voted on many water compacts in the state of Montana in the last 16 years. I think it's prudent of us, especially with this compact, that is so different from the others. That is so different from, the Blackfeet compact. I just think it's that off-reservation water right is the sticker, but I am not opposed to water rights, a water right compact that actually gives them some water rights. It's just the amount.
One more question.
You certainly can.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question about the bison range?
The bison range.
The bison range in this compact,
That's not a
which we paid for twice. The tribe was running once. That didn't work out. Now it's back in this compact.
Well, I would say that at this time, that is a purview of a discussion between the federal government, which Senator Steve Daines represents, and you. It's a national wildlife refuge, and it's set to be a first-time precedent of giving federal public lands that belong to the American people to a third party. And if that can happen, it can help elsewhere. The Arctic National Wild Refuge is one that there's great pressure for the Greenwich tribe, which are the Caribou people of Alaska. We could also go on and talk about the Teddy Roosevelt National Park. And I understand. We have passionate feelings on both sides, as we should. We're Americans.
Corey, last question.